Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to tonight's presentation of the Northwest Racing Truck Series. This is race number 2 here from the virtual Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And of course, alongside me in the booth for the first time this season, and of course for many races come, that of course is going to be Brandon Kreutz. Brandon, welcome to the booth once again. We've worked with you before, and here we are for the fabulous Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Yeah, happy to be back here, the gambling capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada, and looking forward to it. Should be a good race tonight. These guys out here in the trucks going to be pretty much hammered down for the first 15 or so laps of the run, and I think it's going to be really good close racing, a little bit of drafting, a little bit of pack racing action here tonight.
Yeah, it definitely will be. And of course, before all of that racing action does take place, we have to go through qualifying to figure out who's going to be on pole, who's going to be at the rear, and who's going to be in between. Right now, we have 3 minutes left. They are in a driver's meeting. So, of course, that last 10 minutes of qualifying, these trucks will come out here and determine who is going to be on pole. And a good about 20-ish to 22 drivers here tonight. So it'll be interesting to see. This is open setup. There's not any bounds what they can't do to these things other than what iRacing limits them. So you're going to see drivers come in from time to time during pit stops and make changes. Hopefully they make the right changes here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, we are under the lights here tonight, and well, what does that mean? That means lower temperatures, and lower temperatures brings a little bit higher grip to the racing surface. Track temp sitting at about 65 degrees right now, and well, 65 degrees air temperature also. So should be a good night, partly cloudy up in the skies, and nice, cool racetrack here for these guys tonight.
Yeah, and of course we did hear earlier from a couple of different drivers, anywhere from 45 to 47 laps on tires, sorry, fuel. So that'll be interesting to see. We know the tires, if you drive it too hard, are gonna pose a problem, especially that right front. When you talk to one driver, James Vining. In particular, told us a wheel was just right front down to 28%. That is dangerously low. So right front's going to be a problem here possibly tonight.
Yeah, absolutely, and that brings up some key components of tonight. The first key to the race here tonight is just keep track of your tires. You don't want to push this thing hard too early in the run, because otherwise you're gonna wear that right front right down, and well, you'll have the risk of blowing that right front, and you don't want to do that. Which brings us to the second point: you want to keep your truck clean. A clean race truck, you're not going to get there if you can't get to the end. So those two kind of go hand in hands, and saying you blow that right front, you hit the wall, you're out of contention.
Yeah, you do not want to be out of contention. Again, they do have 7 drops, I believe, in this series, but it's a 34 race season, so you do not want to have to use one of your drops here on race number 2. But it is Las Vegas. How much gambling do you think we're going to see here tonight?
Now, gambling is something that these drivers and teams do best on a race night. Strategy is can be key to the victory in one of these races, and that's something that these guys are going to try to go forward tonight. I almost guarantee it. Either short pitting or staying out on these cautions, or if we get a caution, some of these two tire stops. It's all about gambling and strategy, especially towards the end of one of these races.
Yeah, the end is where things can get crazy as they have about 28 seconds before they take to the track. Roughly, anyway. Sometimes that driver meeting takes a little bit longer, but regardless, they should be taking it to the track here soon. I'm not sure who I want to call. Might have a good shot here. Last season, when we were here, you looked at Sean Brightsman and Jeff Stabnow. Dan West Jr. became really good in the second half of the season. James Vining putting up some good runs, but we have a lot of new drivers here as well. We have Stephen O'Hare that is with us. Carl Burke is returning, hasn't been here in a little while. So Chad Mallett came in the last season. Travis Barnes, Bill Ross Jr. So again, a lot of drivers new and a couple of drivers returning. That's going to shake things up for these guys that were really good last year. They may have some competition this season.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, I'm kind of the newcomer here into the Northwest Racing Series, but you know, I recognize some of these names, and I recognize some of these faster guys. So there's a lot of good competition here, and I think it's going to make for a really good show, especially at a track such as Las Vegas. Las Vegas is not just a standard cookie cutter track. Granted, it is a mile and a half, but it does have its own unique characteristics, and these guys are going to be hammered down for quite a few laps at the beginning of these runs, and I think it's going to make some really good action, especially if we get some possible green white checkers at the end of this race, or a late race caution.
Yeah, green white checkers always a possibility. Is anytime you come to here, and it's a great addition. We've waited a long time for it. Glad we have it now, which for the most part pretty much guarantees we will end under a green flag. Of course, there are those times when we'll see the caution come out, regardless. But green flag, getting to finish under it, a great thing. And of course, we won't be using it here tonight, but caution laps not going to be counting in dirt track racing anymore. So all those broadcasts we do won't be having caution laps count. So two great features to have. Lucky we have them, and it looks like we have at least one driver coming out on to the track in Ryan Maines. It looks like James Vining going to be coming out as well for qualifying.
Yeah, I think these guys going to be taking their time coming out of the pits here, just setting themselves up, going through, making sure that their trucks are in qualifying trim, ready to go out. Of course, under the lights, the track temperature is not going to change too much here, so these guys have an opportunity to utilize the full amount of time that they have for qualifying.
And they will utilize it. So we'll see who else comes out. Bill Ross Jr. out as well. Again, you're qualifying a bar up on the left side of your screen, so you can see exactly where your driver is, and of course how far they are away from the leader. I'm gonna guess here. I like throwing out a guess here. I'm gonna guess maybe that 55 of Dan West Jr. is gonna be at the top here. Although James Vining was pretty fast in practice.
First time up on the board, Ryan Maines with a 30.544, his first lap around. Beating him out is going to be James Vining with a 30.503. So a couple of hundredths off of these times so far. James Vining still at the top of the board. Carl Burke going to be turning a lap, 30.550, 31.092 from Gary Nichols.
And
from Roy Grande, sorry.
Roy Grande sitting in fourth. Stephen O'Hare hasn't put in the time yet, and he gets a loose coming out of the corner, so that lap not going to count, at least not be a good one for him. As we go over to Scott Hutchinson, who had a good first race at Daytona. He's going to try to put that 91 machine up at the front here for qualifying, and it's going to be a 30.604, fourth fastest, as he knocks Roy Grande down one spot.
Ryan Maines going to be up at the top of the board so far with a 30.376. So far, your fast qualifier out of the guys that have turned laps thus far. 7 drivers turning laps so far, as we got more coming out onto the speedway now.
John Ottenbacher in the 89 LSR TV machine, looking good with that chrome on it. He is a 31.493. He's coming to the line to complete this lap, and he's going to duck it a little below the apron there, and it's going to be a 30.749. A little bit faster, but still on the top 5. He's only 7th fastest.
Scott Hutchinson jumping up to second on the leaderboard as he turns a 30.399. One of 2 drivers in the 30.3s. James Vining still below them with a 30.434.
And Jeff Stabnow cracking the top 5 with a 30.593 in that number 24 machine. A veteran, and there he goes to the top of the charts. I told you in the pre-show there a little bit before we actually went live, he said he didn't have a setup, but here he is on top with a 30.272.
Yeah, Jeff Stabnow up there, of course, top of the board. The only driver to hit the twos so far. 30.272 for him. Top three going to be so far Jeff Stabnow. Now Travis Barnes jumping up to second place at the 30.312. Ryan Main's going to be up, rounding out the top three, 30.376. So again, Jeff Stabnow, the only driver that's hit the twos so far. Now Travis Barnes, or now Mark Waltz jumps up to second with a 30.311. Travis Barnes falls behind him, 30.312.
Yeah, just right there, almost getting net to believe his teammates there from Next Gen Racing, Mark and Jeff. So we're gonna have teammates on a row one, assuming nobody else tops them. But you still have Brett Johnson, Dan West Jr., and Sean Brightsman that have not qualified, and any of these three drivers could easily get into that top three. So we'll see how they do as they are out on track right now.
15 drivers turning times so far. So far, so good. These guys only have about 3 minutes or so left on qualifying. See if anybody else decides to go out for a couple of laps. Now 16 drivers turning times.
Now Dan West Jr. put in a 30.636. And it'll be interesting. We got to keep an eye on that 28 machine of William Fletcher. He was having some connection issues earlier today. Looks like he may have got that sorted out. As Sean Brightsman and Brett Johnson put laps in 30.816 for Sean and 32.487 for Brett Johnson. So a little slow there for Brett Johnson.
Dan West Jr. coming around to complete his second and final lap here. And on the board, it's going to be
little bit
looks
slower.
Like a 30.635, a little bit slower that time around, but it is good enough for 11th on the board so far. Bill Rose Jr. just jumped ahead of him in 10th.
Yeah, and I talked about the connection issue in that Dirty Mo radio. Number 28, William Fletcher, jumps up to second fastest with a 30.299. Only now the second driver to hit a 30.2, but it is not close. It is very close to that 30.3 mark.
Yeah, just barely hitting the twos, but it's good enough, and it's still good enough for second fastest. So far, quick time out of the guys that have turned a lap is still Jeff Stabnow. Again, 30.272. These guys hitting the 2-minute warning on qualifying.
A 2-minute warning. Some of them got to get out there. And you know, these guys that aren't coming out, Tom Green, Frank Harris, Stephen Paulson, they may just be opting to start at the back of this field. Dan Stuzzi as well, because this is not the case. You've seen it, I've seen it, where, you know, you go out and you're trying to keep the clouds over. You want the sun out, whatever you want. It's nighttime here. The lights are shining, so it's definitely not a case of just trying to get a little cloud cover to cool the track down.
Yeah, absolutely. Under the lights, track temperature has stayed at a consistent 65 degrees. So that's not something that these guys are worried about, and that's why I said earlier, you know, these guys can go out and take their time, make sure that their trucks are set up right for qualifying, and then go out and turn the best lap that they can, which is, you know, William Fletcher, as we saw, he came in with a late time, nearly good enough for the quick time of the night, but he's sitting in second right now with his one of two drivers in the 30.2s.
Yeah, and it looks like time is going to be coming to an end here in 50 seconds. Unfortunately, it looks like Stephen O'Hare getting into the outside wall, then the inside wall. He opted to just not even try to come back out. There was no time to do it anyway. So he is going to be starting at the back with Dan Stuzzi, Tom Green, Frank Harris, and Stephen Paulson not taking times here in qualifying. With 30 seconds left to go, I think we can safely say qualifying has come to an end.
Yeah, only 20 seconds left on the board, so it's safe to say that your quick time of the night goes to Jeff Stabnow. Again, 30.272 up at the top of the scoring pylon.
And that will do it. Time is ticking away. Jeff Stabnow at the top of the charts. And it's not going to be a 1-2 row here on row one between teammates as William Fletcher gets in there and breaks that little duo up. However, This could be even more interesting as now they're going to be both on the inside lane. As a driver here, Brandon, is that not a little bit better for you? Now you can be bumper to bumper.
Yeah, I mean, early in this race, these guys going to be maybe working together a little bit here, but I think it's good just to be starting on that inside line here at Las Vegas. I do feel like we will have some multi-groove coming in once these guys get a groove rubbered in, but early in this race, I think you're going to see these guys just taking it easy.
Well, definitely, I think they'll take it easy. We'll find out that here in a minute. Of course, it is time for your starting grid here for tonight's race. On row one is going to be Jeff Stabnow, driver of that number 24 machine. Is outside, going to be the 28 of William Fletcher. Two veterans on row one. Row two is going to be the 48 of Mark Walls, the teammate of that 24 machine, and the 3, a rookie here in this season, of Travis Barnes. Row 3 is going to be the 13 of Ryan Maines and the 91 of Scott Hutchinson. Again, two veterans on row 3. Row 4 going to be the 333 of James Vining and the 53 of Carl Burke. Row 4 is going to be the 46 of Sean Brightsman and the 17 of Bill Ross Jr., a veteran and a rookie on row 5. Row 6 going to be the 55 of Dan West Jr. and the 9 of Corey Walters. Row 7 going to be the 89 of John Ottenbacher and the 8 of Gary Nichols. Row 8 is going to be the 6 of Chad Malik and the 51 of Roy Grande. Row 9 is going to be the 7 of Brett Johnson and the 07 of Dana Rogers as they start to roll off of the grid. Row 10 is going to be the 58 of Stephen Paulson and the 41 of Stephen O'Hare. Row 11, the 11 of Frank Harris and the 77 of Tom Green. And rounding out the field in row 12 here is going to be the 78 of Dan Stuzzi. And it doesn't look like, Brandon, we are going to have any scratches here tonight. All drivers making the call for tonight's race.
"23 drivers pacing around the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, stacked up, doubled up, ready to go green flag racing this time around. Jeff Stabnow going to be leading the field to the green flag. These guys make their way down through corner number 3 behind the iRacing official Ford Mustang pace car. Lights are out, of course, and these guys are going to be ready to go green flag action coming out of turn number 4. Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time. Buckle your seatbelts. It's time to get it on. The pace car going to be pulling into pit road this time. Off it goes. The field is on the throttle. Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime.
It is showtime here in Las Vegas. Gambling will be done here tonight as we take the green. And looks like they're going to stack them up there just a little bit. We got some close-up cars right about 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. First, second, and third kind of pull away, but nice little jump for those. But again, some stacking up going on from about 7th place.
Yeah, these guys going to be side by side, even 3 wide. A little bit of a tight squeeze there out of corner number 4, the 28. Ripping the high side all the way up against that wall. He's going to find real estate now, moving down to that center line. These guys going to continue side by side down into corner number 1.
Man, I saw a little bit of connection issue from the 28. There it is again from Fletcher. That's going to be a little scary if you're somebody behind. Not as scary as it might have been at Talladega or Daytona, but still a little bit scary as you're watching that 333 machine. He's going to sneak down to the bottom, and here comes the 3. That is going to be Travis Barnes. He's trying to make that pass, and he almost completes it. They almost make contact coming to the line.
Near contact there, coming through the tri-oval across the start finish line. Now down into corner number 1. The 3 going to be right in that middle groove, about the 3rd groove up. 46 going to be all the way down low, and it looks like it's some really good multi-groove racing right now at Las Vegas.
Yeah, it's very odd because we were hearing reports earlier that lately it has been single groove racing. That does not look the case to be here, as that 3 is holding his own on the outside, as they were dead even coming to the line of the 3 of Barnes. May have had it by just a slight little bumper. A little splitter on the front is what he had it by. And now look at the 13 of Ryan Maines trying to make a move on the outside of the 28 of William Fletcher.
13 riding the outside right now. Gonna try to make a move, not quite gonna get there. He's right beside the 333 machine now. Gonna try to get there this time, not gonna be able to make it happen. He's losing ground.
He is losing ground. He's not going to make it. And inviting having a good run in that 333 machine, as we got sparks flying in the back. 89 of Ottenbacher going around, and he's going to have company with him as he's pushing the 8. Caution is out here for the first time here, Interstate Synthetics. Caution. Let's go back and we can take a look and see what happened. But I believe the 89 just got loose into the outside wall.
Yeah, the 89 looks like John Ottenbacher up into the outside wall, and it looks like his truck just kept pushing, and it pushed all the way up to the outside wall, and he got loose as the truck kind of shifted coming off the wall, and that sends them both up outside, and thankfully there wasn't anybody else collected. It was just 8 and 89. Everybody manages to get it rolled up, and everybody else will be able to drive away from that.
And that's always unfortunate to have an accident happen this early in the race. Good news for these drivers, they do have a fast repair in this series, so they can get that damage repaired, get it taken care of. All drivers involved will roll off under their own power, but heavy damage to that LSRTV number 89 of John Ottenbacher. And not sure there, as we were still watching the replay, it looked like he wanted to come down pit road, but maybe it was closed, and he opted not to come down.
Looks like Jeff Stab now leading the rest of the field down pit road, though. Everybody seems to be pitting for tires in this time around, so I imagine it's going to be 4 tires and fuel for all of these drivers in this stop.
Yeah, 4 tires and fuel all around. No reason not to. Again, we are early in this race. Lap 7 of 134. As this is considered, they kind of mock it up to Road to Pro. Obviously, Road to Pro was a lot more laps. But they marked this down as a Road to Pro race. So I'm not sure what all they do differently, but it is considered or marked as a Road to Pro race. But unfortunately, the 89 of John Ottenbacher still sitting on pit road. So is the 8. So even with that fast repair, it doesn't look like they're going to be using it.
No, that's one thing, especially early in this race, that you really want to try to save. You know, you still got a lot of time left. If you end up getting into another incident, you won't have it there. That tool is kind of your friend this early in the race. Saw a couple of drivers stay out. It looks like those guys are going to be pinning this time around. Staying out is going to be Sean Breitzman in that 46 machine, so he's going to stay out and become your new leader as we cross the stripe.
Yeah, and you got right there 3 cars that all are using the new Spec Map Chrome on there. You know, I just want to talk about this Chrome here for a minute while we're under caution. They absolutely look amazing under the sun. They look good at night, but to see these trucks under the sun with the sun shining on that Chrome looks really good. That purple during the day is really shiny, but here it's really dark. So, you know, that is a good use. These drivers are putting use of this new Spec Map feature for Chrome that iRacing put in just recently.
Yeah, of course, iRacing always developing and researching and seeing how they can make things better on the sim, and we give many props to them. And of course, iRacing, the leading service out there for sim racers all around the world. Be sure to check them out, iracing.com, always offering discounts for new memberships.
Yeah, definitely. You can always count on getting something special as a new member. And of course, once you get in, you're hooked. We've been here for 2014 for me. I'm not sure how long you've been here, but I'm sure it's been quite a long time as well. as we're about to take the green flag one more time.
Pace car pulls off. Sean Britzman going to be leading the field to the green flag. Green flag back in the air. We're back underway at Las Vegas.
This will be interesting to see if Brightsman going to hang on to that lead, as he's going to be under heavy fire from Jeff Stabnow and Mark Walls. All four of these drivers used to be on one team last season. Now it's broken up into basically Team LSR TV or Next Gen Racing and Wicked Chassis Racing. So what was one team of 4 drivers is now 2 teams of 2 drivers. You know,
oh, look out 24, look out 48, spinning through the grass, big wreck down the front straightaway.
a 20 of 4.
Oh, 3 hard impacts from the outside wall. He collects more trucks.
Oh, go back and take a look here to the replay and see what happened, but chaos ensuing here quickly after the green flag. Makes you wonder if we had some tires there that just weren't ready to go racing.
Cold tires, of course. It looked like it was just products. 48 got loose. That caused a stack up for the 24 of Stabnow. And those guys getting collected, and 28 had nowhere to go, and he slides down through. And I'm assuming it was a chain reaction as these guys kept going. The 3 made harder impact with the outside wall. The 13's race is probably done. More trucks collected up in that one. Also, hard impact with the 53 and the 51.
What, 2 cautions quick in this race. Again, cautions breed cautions, but at the same time, I know you've seen it, I've seen it. We could get these cautions out of the way early and then go green flag racing from then on. So you never know what's going to happen, but like you said, several drivers taking hard hits and very well could be out of this race quickly. As we look here, Travis Barnes right now in that 3 machine. He has got heavy damage, smoking down the backstretch, and it looks like a gray smoke. It hasn't turned white yet, so that may be good news for him, that engine may make it to pit road.
Yeah, well, you know, a lot of these guys suffering really heavy damage from that accident. Of course, your leader, Sean Brightsman, going to be making it out of that one. Jeff Stabnow going to be making it out with minimal damage, a couple of scrapes, and maybe a bent spoiler on the side of that race truck. Nothing to be too concerned about early in this race. And looks like pretty much all new drivers throughout the top 10, as we had basically the Las Vegas big one down the front straightaway.
We did, and you know, a lot of things changed, and you know, you talk about gambling here, Las Vegas. You know, when you take your fast pair, do you take it early if you get involved? Do you try to run with the damage, take it later? That is kind of considered gambling here in Las Vegas. You've got to know when to use it. You know, it's kind of like having that old Western movie, and you have that ace in your sleeve. When do you play it? When do you not play it? You know, you really have to pick it at the perfect time. And it's hard to do as a racer because you just don't know what the rest of this race is going to hold. We still have 123 laps to go, though. You know, again, you just don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's still really early in this race, and you know, these guys just unfortunately tearing stuff up really early. Like you said, we're only on lap 12, coming to lap 13 right here. You know, it's still too early out of a 134 lap race to be aggressive and to be tearing stuff up.
Yeah, it definitely is aggressive. It's early to be aggressive. We'll see if this trend continues. You know, usually once you see a few cautions, well, you have one of two things going to happen. We'll see either more cautions come out, or these guys are going to settle down and they're going to get some good green flag racing in. Again, fuel is about 45 to 47 laps. At the rate we're going, we're not going to see a green flag pit stop anytime soon. And good news for these people, if the caution comes out a couple of times here repeatedly, is that right front getting down to 28%, as we talked to James Vining about, and possibly getting into a danger zone. We won't see that here.
Yeah, absolutely. But, folks, as we pace around the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, we are in the gambling capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. We'd like to just take this opportunity to say thank you for tuning in tonight. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you want to become partners, either via a sponsorship or if you're a league interested in having us cover your races, visit us at livesimracing.com. Again, livesimracing.com, and we will be sure to get back to you as soon as we can. And of course, we always like having all of you viewers tuning in to watch our races. And we know it's a late night here for most of these guys in the United States, so we really appreciate everybody who tunes in live. And if you're tuning in after, watching the race maybe tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon, again, be sure to like and subscribe. We appreciate all of you coming out.
Yeah, we definitely do. And of course, on a note there, we're sim racing. We're on the backstretch here. This is sim racing. You're at your house. It's one of the few places you can't catch that coronavirus as well.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We're not racing in front of any empty grandstands here tonight. Good crowd here in the virtual world of Las Vegas. So, but once again, the lights are out up on top of the iRacing official pace car. It's going to be Sean Brightsman and going to be leading the fields back to the green flag once again. Hopefully, we'll get more of a run in this time around.
Yeah, we'll definitely look to get a good green flag run here. As soon as that green flag does drop in the slow snail's pace here for that pace cars, we're looking for it to turn off. There it goes. And they are going to creep to the line. They're not going to gas it too much. And there goes Sean Brightsman. He's going to jump real quick. Green flag is out. We bring the sidebar back down. And he's going to get a good jump. But behind him, it's going to be Stabnell, Vining, Johnson, West Jr., and Ross Jr. are all going to be too wide behind him. But your leader out front.
Side by side for that second position, down out of corner number 2, now down into turn number 3. They head down Linellis back straight away. Now down through corner number 3, James Vining on the inside, almost a little bit of contact with that 24 machine. We've seen it once, we don't want to see it again. Those guys continue close racing for that second position.
And the 24 machine of Jeff Stabnell did not use his fast repair. He's going to keep that ace in his pocket there up his sleeve for later on in the race. Dan West Jr., he has not done. That truck is getting very sideways, real squirrely there as he's trying to thread the needle between the 333 of Vining and the 24. Doesn't work out, but he's on the high side of Vining, and he may try to make that pass on the outside now.
Dan West Jr. looking to make some ground. Now caution on the speedway once again.
And we go back and look, and I believe it's going to be for Dana Rogers in the 07. We'll go back and take a look at the replay.
Looks like heading down into corner number 3. These guys, 07 cuts down, and looked like the 13 came up a little bit. They came into each other. I'd call that a racing deal, but up into the outside safer barrier goes the number 07, Dana Rogers. And not too bad of damage. I think it's going to be worthwhile just to keep on going. Maybe a pit stop, a little bit of damage repair, and I think that truck will be good to go.
Yeah, just a little bit of damage, like you said. And I'm not sure who that was. Somebody narrowly avoided him there at the end. And, we talk about damage when you come to these trucks. And even the Cup cars on Monday night. If you had to get damage, I think I would rather take it to the back of this truck than the front. So, you obviously do a little more racing there. If you had to pick front or back, which one would you rather have the damage to?
If I'm going to hit anywhere, if I'm out of control and, well, if you're out of control, you don't really have much choice of where you're going to go. However, if you can try to swing that truck around in a way where it hits the rear end, that's probably going to be preferred. You want to keep that nose clean. That's where all the air flows over, and of course you risk turning that spoiler into a parachute. But if you flatten up that front end, you got a snowplow on the front of your truck, and it's not going to work out. And when front end damage, you really got to watch those temperatures also, because then you risk overheating and blowing a motor.
Yeah, not much you can risk. You will risk stuff in the back, But that radiator and the engine definitely going to be something you have to watch here. And thinking about pulling a driver down here, we're going to pull that 24 machine if we can. Of course, the first one to find out if he's going to be bringing that machine down at pit road as the lights are still on. I don't know if he's going to or not, as they were just down not a few laps ago, but it's going to be an if question. It looks like they are taken to the bottom to come down.
No, these drivers going to be staying out, and if I had to guess, either this time or next time, lights will go off on top of that pace car. Pace it around for enough laps here.
And if we don't see the lights go off this time, we'll see if we can't pull the 24 machine in, and they do not go off, so we'll grab him down here real quick and see if we can't take a few words with him. Jeff Stabnow, you get a coffee.
Got you, man.
Well, we won't hold you long. We caught you there in the middle of a conversation. But quick here, I'll ask a question. We'll hand it over to Brandon. You're behind that 46 machine. He's got LSR TV on there, so he's going to be fast. What do you got to do to get by him?
Well, I don't know. I don't know how much damage I have. When that wreck happened, not this caution, but the one before, I got into the wall trying to avoid it. If I'm still good, I think I just gotta just work them over, hopefully here in probably about 10-15 laps, see what I got for him here, just kind of slowly work on him. So we're pretty wide open there for about 5 or 6 laps, so he gets a good restart on me. It'll take me that long before I can even think about being faster than him, and then you got to start eating that gap away. So probably just ride for about 10 laps, try to tuck in behind him.
Well, it definitely will be interesting to see how you can do, what you can do with him. And Brandon, got any questions for him?
Jeff is Brandon in the LSR TV booth. Obviously that bottom is going to be probably the preferred groove around here, but tell us how that multi-groove is. Is that second lane starting to come in up there?
Well, so obviously rubber is going to be a bit of a concern. If we don't get some rubber in that upper lane, it's going to be a little tough running up there and not wearing your tires out. For speed-wise, though, that second lane comes in as soon as you start lifting a little bit. You can get a good run off that second lane down the backstretch. So, again, we start getting around lap 10 or so. I think you'll see that second lane start coming in. I actually made it work on that last restart. I was surprised it worked that early. So, I think we're going to see some multi-groove. We can just get a decent green flag run.
All right, awesome, Jeff. Thanks for talking with us, and good luck out there.
All right, guys.
All right, get him back to his rightful radio communications. We're running on the board right here with that 24 machine. And, I think he may be faster tonight. He's got some flames on his helmet as well. Don't flames make you faster?
Flames make a race car faster in general. Isn't that the rule? You add flames to it, it goes faster?
I believe that is correct, so we'll see if that is the case. He said that outside lane was working for him a little bit earlier than he thought. Maybe that is because the flames on that helmet. We'll see as the green flag is set to come back out this time, and they are going to get going here again. Not a huge jump on by anybody, but there we go. Not as good a start for that 46 of Sean Brightsman, but there he goes. Now he gets the lead he needs, and we're still side by side for pretty much everyone in the field except your leader, who has about a 3 to 4 car length lead.
Jeff Stabnow sitting on that outside. He may fall back to the third position. Dan West Jr. trying to get through to that second spot now. He's right in that bottom lane. He's going to be able to clear. Stabnow going to be followed to that third position in that 24 machine. Now he's going to cut over and look to the inside.
He is going to look to the inside, and he has to go below the white line there just a little bit to try to keep that momentum going. And the inside lane definitely working, so he may have had a little fluke there on the outside as he is getting way loose coming out of the corner, but it looks like West hitting the wall.
These guys getting loose and sliding around a little bit, but that's all the fun here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. These guys are singled out, but not done yet. Here comes the 9 looking for position under the 7. Brett Johnson on the outside. It's Corey Walters on the inside looking for position. He's looking to gain that 4th position.
And he is looking to gain a position in that Hooters number 9 machine. As he's looking to get some winner chicken dinner from Hooters there. Maybe he'll get some buffalo wings if he wins this race. And that 7 machine not having enough. We go right behind them by about 3 spots. Mark Walls in that 24 machine, or 48 machine, sorry, he was up front, was involved in that. So was the 3. They're pushed back to right now in the 8th and 9th position. They're going to try to work their way back to the front. Ottenbacher right there with them in that 89 machine.
Bill Ross Jr. up there was just side by side for position with the 333 of Vining. Now, he may end up losing another position. He drifted up a little bit too high up onto the banking, and now the 48 of Walls goes around him, and now here comes the 3. He may lose 2 positions out of this whole deal.
Yeah, he very well could. And, you know, I want to point out here while we're watching this group, this is the tail end of the group that didn't come down recently. These guys are running anywhere from 13 to 18 laps on their tires, whereas the rest of these guys, you go back here to Tom Green, Chad Malik, Dana Rogers, and beyond, these guys have 5 to 7, 8 laps on their tires. They have a little bit fresher tires, so obviously it doesn't necessarily guarantee you're going to get to the front, but I'm going to be curious to see what the fall off is compared to these newer tires on them older tires, as if we get a long green flag run here.
I just mentioned James Vining about a lap ago. Now I'm going to bring him up again. He just broke the top 5. Now going on the same lap, he's going to try to get that 4th position away from the 9 machine of Corey Walters. He's looking at the inside now, and he's going to have position, and he's going to clear for that 4th position. The 333, James Vining, really making ground.
He is really making ground. And there for a minute, I thought that 7 of Brett Johnson was going to kind of piggyback off of him and fill that hole as well. But the 9 of Corey Walters said, nah, not happening, and closed the door on him. And Sean Brightsman continues to lead this race. But look who's all over his back bumper. That is Rocket Man Dan, the 55 of Dan West Jr. He is all over the back bumper of that 46 machine.
We had just had a 3-wide situation back here for about the 6th position. 7, 48, and 3 now battling. Going to be side by side once again, going down into corner number 1. 3 looking around, nowhere to go back there. And again, some really good racing going on. 3 maybe try to find just a little bit of draft here down these long Las Vegas straightaways. He's going to look to the outside, maybe try to find that groove. A little bit of contact between the 7 and 48. Walls goes up the track.
Yeah, that was definitely probably the closest you can come to contact without making a caution come out. Those two just kissing doors, you might say. But, you know, you say kissing doors doesn't mean that, you know, they keep wanting to do it or it was friendly. Not that it was malicious or anything, but I'm sure they don't want to keep doing it.
Battle for the lead up front. 55 looking to the inside of Brightsman now. He's going to have position. Dan West Jr. Rocketman on the inside. Gonna try to look for position. Not quite going to make it work. He's not going to be able to clear. He's going to fall back. Maybe just try to cool those tires off a little bit and go for it again.
And it makes you wonder here. You have to question what these guys are doing with their tires. Who has the long run truck? Who has the short run truck? These are open setups. Some of these guys built these setups for a long run. Dan West Jr. may be one of those. As he's coming to life the longer we get. This is the longest green flag run we've had so far.
31 laps into 134 lap race so far. Still early into this event. And again, looks like West is going to look to the inside of Brightsman now. 46 on the outside. He's holding that outside line, and so far holding true, has kept that position. And that outside lane, it looks like it's got a little bit of rubber. It's really starting to come in to help defend for this position.
Yeah, and you know, I'm looking here at the positions gained since the start of the race. Jeff Stabnow sitting in 3rd. He's lost 2, actually, but your 2 front runners right now are the almost 2 of the biggest gainers. 8 spots gained for Sean Brightsman, 9 for Dan West Jr. The only other driver to have plus 9 spots is going to be Brett Johnson back in 8th position. So we've had some people at the back come to the front, like you mentioned a while ago.
Yeah, absolutely. And, well, I was looking at the qualifying times. These aren't the guys that I figured would be battling for the lead in this early, as West is going to look to the inside once again. Almost a little bit of contact there, and these guys going to continue to roll door to door down at a corner number 4 as they're going to be coming up on a lap truck now. That's the number 58 of Paulison. Those guys going to get around him 3 wide. No problem, though. No harm, no foul. He got out of the way. And the 55 maybe with the advantage now. West is going to clear. New leader down the back straightaway.
Yeah, and I wonder how much that lap car had to play, and the lap car took the high side to get out of the way. And, of course, that opening up the bottom for Dan West Jr., maybe the 46 had to check up just a little bit, was unsure where that 58 was going to go. But that being said, Dan West Jr. taking the lead, and in the words of Nick Robbins, he has put the keys on the counter, checked out from the hotel, as he now has about a 4.5, almost 5 car length lead in just 1 lap since taking that lead.
He took the lead, dropped the mic, and walked away so far. Now, again, just pulling away with the lead thus far. And again, it's still early. These guys, I'm sure, still trying to save their stuff. But this is the benefit, and I know the 46 is yet to pit this race, but this is the benefit of saving your tires early in these runs, even through these heat cycles. If you can just save these tires just a little bit better than the guy in front of you, it's really going to give you a good advantage.
Yeah, and we're looking here. We told there would be fall off. 31.369 was the last lap for Dan West Jr. His fast, a 30.567. So we are seeing about a second fall off here with 30 laps on the stint for those tires. So fall off is going to be big here in Las Vegas. So, that is where there's some more gambling is going to come in here later in this run, or later in this race. If we get down to 20 to go, even 30 to go, do you take 4 tires, 2 tires? We'll probably see some gambling there.
Brightsman going to be at risk of losing yet another position here. Currently in the 2nd position. He's got Stab now on his back bumper. Now looking to the inside for 2nd. That 24 going to be to the inside to his door, to his fender, and he's going to clear for that 2nd spot.
And they're both on 31 lap tires. However, I want to point out that Sean Brightsman, here in the scoring tower anyway, showing 9.4 seconds on his last stop and only stop. So he only took 2 tires already, where these guys took 4 tires. So he may be doing some experimenting a little bit early in this race, and we're showing right now that if we have a short run, I think Sean Brightsman would have been fine. But here in the long run, 2 tires not working out for him too well.
Yeah, fall off really starting to show, and he's got those older left side tires and the newer right sides, but it's looks like he's struggling with the handling of that race truck just a little bit. He's getting loose off of corner exit, as you can see that truck wobbling just a little bit, and he's at risk of losing the 3rd position. Now looking for the podium spot, James Vining in the 333.
Yeah, that's a lot of 3s there. If that 333 can jump to 3rd position. But this is good information about the 46 machine. Next going to be coming up is Mark Walls in 5th position. Could be 4th before long. He's worked his way up in this race, as we'll check in on his race information here. Started 3rd, he's currently 5th, but he was as low as 15th spot not too long ago.
Yeah, Vining making his way through the field pretty quickly here, as he didn't quite get that 3rd spot at the line that time around, but he should be able to maybe clear for it here out of corner number 2. Not quite. So it looks like Brightsman putting up a good fight on the outside.
And Brightsman is fighting hard on those 2 tires. Are a lot older than the other. So 2 tires about 34 laps. The other's about 41 laps. So he is fighting extremely hard. But it looks like it's not going to work. The 333 of James Vining's going to get by him.
Yeah, absolutely. Frank Harris, I am assuming on fresher tires in that 11 machine, currently in the 19th position. I believe 1 lap down, 2 laps down for that 11 machine. So looking to maybe get one back. Sean Brightsman, he lost that third position. The truck pushed off of turn number 4. A little bit of an ill handling race truck for that 46 machine, it looks like right now.
Yeah, definitely ill handling machine. As we're going to go back, and it looks like Roy Grande is out of the race. Just a quick update on him. Carl Burke sitting there 2 laps down, as well Scott Hutchinson and Stephen O'Hare 2 laps down. But at the moment, Stephen Paulson and Gary Nichols 1 lap down. They are set to potentially get the wave around or lucky dog if we see another caution. Again, this is the longest run we've seen here for this stint, which I believe is somewhere in the 22 to 24 lap range. Here is, it's kind of muffled there, is muddled where we actually came down, as people are on so many different strategies right now.
And that's something we brought up in pre-race, is who's going to gamble? We expected it more towards the end, but we've already got several strategies going on in this race. And if this race stays green, you're going to see the strategy switch up that much more.
Yeah, and as I said, wondering when they would come down, Travis Barnes in that 3 machine, he is down right now. He's 1 lap down, obviously, onto pit road. And it's going to be about a 15, 16-second stop. So this is an extended stop for him. So it looks like he is possibly going to get some damage repaired or possibly being held for a penalty, as he's still there 30 seconds in as Dan West Jr. puts him another lap down.
So these guys riding pretty much single file right now. That 11 machine, Frank Harris, getting one of his laps back the hard way. Now just 1 lap down is that 11 on fresher tires. Leader's going to gladly let him go by. And looks like Dan West Jr., he's starting to lose ground to that 24 machine pretty quickly.
He is indeed, as Jeff Stabnow about a tenth faster, a little over a tenth faster, with almost 3/10 separating. He'll be catching him soon, as Gary Nichols in the 8 going to come down pit road, but the battle for the lead is underway. Jeff Stabnow trying to make it happen here. Again, when we talked to him, I said keep an eye on him. He said he didn't have a setup. He was going to have to work on one, and I said he would be in victory lane. He is always a contender, whether he wants to admit it or not. And he's got a shot here, even after that damage. And that damage has not been fixed, and he's still running in second place.
Yeah, he is, and he's looking for the lead, possibly. He got right up to the back bumper of that 55 machine that last time around. Now going to be pulling back up to the rear bumper cover and slowly inching his way forward. We're going to see a battle for the lead here very, very soon.
Yeah, a battle for the lead is underway, so the question is, which comes first? Is it going to be the 24 getting around the 58, or is it going to be the 55, or is it going to be the 55 and the 24 both coming down pit road? These guys have 42 laps on the stint, is what we're showing, so they're going to have to come down here soon. Probably in the next 2 to 5 laps.
Yeah, I'm sure these guys would like some new 4 fresh feel goods on these things also. So as they go around a couple of more lap cars here, and so those guys get to go around them, no problem. Lap trucks getting all the way out of the way, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens first. It looks like Stabnow just kind of riding to see what these guys are going to do. I imagine probably going to pit right around the same time.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see, as we're on lap 44, does the 24 try to beat the 55 of Dan West Jr. to pit road? Will he try to come down this time and beat him onto pit road? It's a valid strategy, you see, but I'm not seeing that as Jeff said. Now gets a little squiggly there. And nope, they're going to stay side by side. He almost had him there, but the momentum was just not quite good enough.
Now Stabnow got pretty loose there down out of corner number 4 that last time around. His truck started to push. He tried to compensate and put more wheel into it, and that caused the back end to kick around just a little bit. So now he's got ground to make up, and he didn't lose too much, but it was enough. He lost that. He lost the contact with the door there of the 55, and now he's fallen back a few truck lengths.
Yeah, he has to try to make that up. So good news is, I'm not going to complain too much if I'm Jeff Stabnow, because of the fact they're going to have to come down pit road here in a second, and this gives him about a 3-car length room to kind of check up when they come down pit road. If you're right on somebody's bumper like that, you both come down pit road. If he was to hit the brakes a little bit harder than you, there's a good chance you get into his back bumper. This gives him a little bit of a padding per se, so I'm not going to complain too much knowing pit stops are just around the corner.
Yeah, and these drivers have the ability in sim to communicate with each other, so really important radio communication between drivers, especially if someone's right behind you going, hey, I'm pitting this time, or heads up, I'm going to be making that left hands and into the pit road, so that way you don't have that sort of collision. Of course, these guys like to play strategy and not tell each other when they're pitting, but in this situation, you almost have to, look out, 55, almost contact with the 8-third lap car.
Yeah, almost going 3 wide now, but they sort that one out. The lap car there, that is the 8 of Gary Nichols. Right now, if you're the 55, you're probably pitching a fit and beating your hands on the steering wheel, telling this 8 to get out of my way, because this may cost him the lead.
55, Dan West Jr. still held strong on that outside groove, which seems to be coming in very well for defending in position. If you're underneath somebody, it seems like it's very hard to get around them on the bottom, and I think it's just between the air coming off the race truck next to you and just the fact you got to turn the wheel that much more to you can't do the full arc into the corner, which, bad angle going into the corner just makes it that much harder to keep momentum, which is really key in these race trucks because of these spec motors and these things.
Yeah, and pointing here, looking at the timing, since their last pit stop, 49 laps on this stint. Jeff Stabnow bringing it down pit road. Wondered when it would happen. I figured he would try to come in before that 55 of Dan West Jr. He does. We'll see if this is a race-winning call or at least a lead call once he gets out of pit road and cycle is done.
He hit that 50-mile-an-hour speed limit right on the dot, right at the line. I imagine it's going to be 4 tires and fuel for the 24 this time. Looks like going up on the jacks on the right side now, and I expect that left side to go up 4 tires and fuel for the number 24.
Yeah, definitely. If he had any communication with that 46 machine, he knows what 2 tires can do, or in this case can't do. He got past pretty quickly there. He is going to take 4 tires and fuel. 14.2 seconds, pretty good, as Dan West Jr. comes down as well.
4 tires and fuel going to be going on that number 55 machine. Also, again, he hit that 55-mile-an-hour mark right on the dot, so I won't see any issues as the right sides go up. He's going to drop off the jack, and he's going to take off. Another good pit stop from 55.
And it looks like William Fletcher going to be bringing that 28 machine down. He is currently your 3rd place runner. Of course, he will be dropping through the field once we get done. As Chad Malik, for the first time this season, is your current race leader. And I say first time this season, first time tonight at least. He may have led some laps there at Daytona, as I believe we had like 45 different lead changes at Daytona.
William Fletcher, just by the way, a little bit slower of a pit stop that time. I think he may have stalled it trying to come out of pit road, had to refire. He's off and running down out of corner number 2 on the apron.
Yeah, the question is, who is going to be the next one to come down? Really, Chad Malik, one of the few that hasn't come down. 42 laps for his stint. He's still got probably 4 to 5 laps, because some of that was under caution, Everybody else roughly about 1 to 10 laps, minus Stephen O'Hare, Scott Hutchinson, Gary Nichols 13, and of course Frank Harris with 24 laps on his tires. So basically, this entire field is somewhat on a 5 to 6 lap stint right now on the same schedule.
Would like to point out that Sean Brightsman is currently ahead of your former first and second placeman Dan West Jr. and Jeff Stabnow. So Sean Brightsman, I think, managed to come out ahead of those guys and has a couple of 10th lead over them.
Yeah, and this will be interesting to see how this one goes. Again, this is a little bit different strategy. 10 laps for Sean Brightsman now, so obviously his tires are going to wear out a little bit quicker. 3 laps for Dan West Jr., 4 for Jeff Stabnow. I'm not going to say they're basically on the same one. 1 lap's really not going to make that big a difference. So say 4 laps versus 10 laps, going on 5 and 11 now. We'll see how quickly they catch him, as it looks like Dan West Jr. has closed that gap by about 2 car lengths already.
So these guys working their way down into corner number 3. That 46 machine has company already. Here comes West Jr. looking to the inside for that second position. The 55 looking, and probably going to end up being for the race lead as soon as that number 6 pits. He's going to take that second position, no problems there. Jeff Stabnow still back there in that 4th position, that 24 machine.
Yeah, the 55 Dan West Jr. making quick work of what was your race leader, Sean Brightsman. Obviously, he is the fast car here tonight in that 55 machine. But right now, I think this really is a 3-man race. I'm not going to say any one driver has it wrapped up, because Dan West Jr., Sean Brightsman, and Jeff Stabnow have been very quick all night long. And Chad Malik out there, he is hanging this thing out for the very bitter end, as he is on a completely different setup than everybody else in this race here tonight.
Chad Malik, I think at this point, just maybe hoping for a caution to come out, says, he's going to end up losing a lot of ground here when he does pit. These guys that have the fresher tires are way ahead of him. Oh, contact as he was coming down pit road. That's a big speeding penalty for him. Contact with the 3, tried coming down pit road. The 3 had nowhere to go, and he was sideways coming down into pit lane. They caught him speeding at probably 80 miles an hour in a 50-mile-an-hour zone.
Now that is going to be a huge penalty. Like you said, he's got plan B on that car. He's going to need a plan B here tonight, as obviously that penalty is going to hurt him as he takes 4 tires and fuel. So right there would have been the end of his stop, and they're going to hold him here for quite some time. These speeding penalties, especially for that much over, is going to be costly, as he's there about 30 seconds so far, and he's still having to sit and wait.
Very unfortunate break for Chad Malik, as we saw him hanging it out in the lead. But now your leader once again is going to be Dan West Jr. in that 55. Jeff Stabnow did end up taking that second position away. Sean Brightsman and Mark Waltz going to be top 4, and James Vining rounding out your top 5. Vining, another fast driver that we've seen him make his way through the field multiple times so far on the night.
Yeah, and I'm curious. I want to keep an eye on that 24 throughout this race, as we are coming up on the halfway point already. And notably, the 24 is passing people just as easy as that 55 is, and Dan West Jr., but the 24 still has that damage. Dan West Jr. has a clean truck. If he uses that fast repair later on, would he be faster? He was your pole sitter for tonight's race.
Halfway down, half the race to go now, as last lap around the 55 took the cross flags on lap coming to complete lap 67. As so these drivers, so far so good strategy-wise. Dan West is showing a lot of speed in that race truck. It's just got to keep that consistency going for the next half of this race.
He definitely has to just keep going. This the tortoise and the hare. You don't have to be necessarily the fastest, but you can't make mistakes. You got to be fast, but you cannot make mistakes. And here at Las Vegas, it is very easy to make mistakes or get caught up in somebody else's mistake. As we just saw that incident getting on the pit road. Wasn't necessarily his fault, but it cost him the most.
Dan West Jr. currently just over a 2-second lead on Jeff Stabno as of the last time they crossed the stripe, so he does have a little bit of room to play with, but working through heavy lap traffic now are both of these drivers.
Yeah, they are. Jeff Stabno coming up. I'm not sure who that is in front of him. Try to keep an eye and see who that is. I believe it is. No, it's not Scott Hutchinson. I'm not sure who that is behind him or in front of him, but there is a driver in front of him. And just not sure who it is in front of Jeff Stabno right now.
Yeah, Jeff Stabno back there, and that is Scott Hutchinson in the 91 machine, and not making it easy for that 24 machine to go around, let me tell you.
Now, he is definitely holding his own right there in that 91 machine, not giving that 24 an inch on the track. And again, the 91 currently 3 laps down. It's something like this that a driver will remember later on. If you have a shot to get the win, you're being held up. Right now, he will remember that later on. He's kind of fallen off of him a little bit, but when he was right there, he was not letting him by easy at all. So he will remember that later on in the season.
07, Dana Rogers getting ready to go a lap down here now, as well as Stephen O'Hare.
Stephen O'Hare, a rookie here too, so sad to see him going a lap down, but hopefully he'll hang in there, as I think his day's coming. He's usually very fast.
So these guys continuing to keep on trucking here, as most of the field look like they're singled out so far, with the exception of some lap trucks back there. But as we go through kind of a just past halfway rundown, of course, Dan West Jr. holding the lead so far. Jeff Stabno in second. Sean Breitzman holding third so far. Mark Waltz holding that fourth position. Rounding out the top 5 is James Vining. And so those guys rounding out your top 5, those are the guys that have been most consistent on the night so far as position-wise goes. John Ottenbacher so far in that 6th position. Bill Ross Jr. in 7th. 8th is Brett Johnson. 9th, Ryan Maines. We saw he was fast at the beginning of the night. Looks like he's fallen off quite a bit, and a rough start to his night as we saw him get caught up at an incident earlier. William Fletcher in that 10th position, and Dana Rogers going to be the first truck a lap down in 11th.
And still, I want to point out here while we're kind of recapping where everybody's at. Right now, Dana Rogers is a lap down. However, still currently 7 positions gained. So, not a bad night. Obviously, you don't want to go a lap down, but still having a positive momentum race going forward. And also going forward at the moment is going to be that 55. Right now, the biggest gainer in this race with 10 spots. The only other driver to have 10 spots gained is going to be another driver that's a lap down, and that is going to be Tom Green, who now actually is the biggest mover as he just passed Dana Rogers to gain 11 spots in this race so far.
I'd be pretty happy with that on the night if gaining 11 spots from the starting position. And, this thing is long from over. Still plenty of opportunity to go and gain position for a lot of these drivers. And these guys just got to keep it consistent. They got to keep it clean. And they got to just keep on trucking. You can't give up. Persistence is key in these types of races.
That it is. Persistence is the key. And it looks like the 6 is back out on the track of Chad Malik. He is 2 laps down. as he's got fresher tires, and you can see just right there what those fresh tires can do as he makes quick work of Jeff Stabnow. He's going to try to go get one of his lap back the hard way as he's got his eyes set on Dan West Jr. But fresh tires going to be huge here at Las Vegas tonight. If we come down to a green-white checkered or an 8-lap shootout, 10-lap shootout, I'm coming down for fresh tires.
Someone who wouldn't mind to see a caution right now is Tom Green in that 77, currently in that wave around position. And, he's just riding, and he's got some speed in that race truck. So if he could just hang on, and that's what he's hoping for. He's hoping for the caution to get that wave around.
Yeah, he is definitely hoping to get the caution. Again, hoping it's not him that's in the caution. Obviously, if you are involved in it, you cannot get the lucky dog. So he's hoping the caution comes out, not involving him. As we go back here, look at not John Ottenbacher. That was Sean Breitzman, I do believe. As he thought he had a little company there from the 58, but the 58 technically not on the same lap. But like you mentioned, these guys are quite spread out. But I'm curious if that 48 machine of Mark Walls can catch the 46 machine of Sean Breitzman. He hasn't really shown a lot of forward momentum to get to him. But we'll just have to keep an eye on that gap there. 1.566 seconds. And it's really sticking right about there. Now it has gained just a little bit.
So talked about Scott Hutchinson, 3 laps down. It looks like he's on fresh tires. He's trying to get one of his laps back the hard way as he came right up onto the back bump of the 55. Now maybe a little bit of respect going on here for your race leader. He did manage to back off a little bit as they're coming up on more lap traffic here. And 55 has been working around some pretty heavy lap traffic pretty much this whole run from about 10 laps in to all the way up until now.
Yeah, and this is, of course, the longest run we've had. So, not to jinx us, we'll knock on some wood. But we had those early cautions, as we'll bring up that caution information here. We had those early 3 cautions for 12 laps, 4 different lead changes so far. After that, here in Las Vegas, it has been all green flag racing. And for the most part, it's been led by the 55, who's now led 43 laps here tonight.
Yeah, so Dan West Jr. showing some good domination here tonight and putting on a good show out front, showing these guys how it's done. And, of course, Jeff Stabnow now almost 4 seconds back behind him.
As the gaps are growing and then to shrink a little bit. That's, again, a caution would be beneficial to a lot of drivers. William Fletcher now gets by Tom Green, so he would be the first one to get the lucky dog. There would be 3 drivers that could potentially get back on the lead lap. As at the moment, we only have 9 drivers on the lead lap. And they're spread out right now. So if you're any of these guys, Stabnow, Breitzman, Walls, Vining, Ottenbacher, you would really love to see this caution to bunch this field back up and give you a shot. I think if we bunch this field back up, we have several drivers that could have a chance. But they're just not having that chance right now because Dan West Jr. is so good on the long runs and he is checked out from this field right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm getting pretty pumped up about the end of this race and the possible outcomes of this race. Of course, drinking my unnamed, unspecified energy drink. Possibly insert your name here. You like that marketing tactic, Charles?
I do. That is good marketing.
But, I'm getting pretty pumped up about the end of this thing. There's so many different variables that go on throughout these races. And, of course, we still have quite a bit to go. Lap 87 of 134. Granted, we're getting there. And, as soon as we get into 30, within 30 to go is going to be go time for a lot of these drivers. But, I'm getting pretty excited for the end of this thing.
And I'm curious, excuse me, as getting a little choked up here. I'm curious when they're going to come down for this last stop. We know they're going to have to come down as they can only make about 45 to 47 laps on fuel. It is 47 to go right now. This is the longest they run. If they came down there right now, they would be pushing it. I would be willing to bet if you're Dan West Jr., he's 30 laps in. Jeff Stabnow's 31 laps in. With 47 to go, we may see them come down here in the next 10 laps.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, this is gonna end up being, if they make it under green, the second round of green flag pit stops of this run. And so these guys kind of probably had it planned from their first stop that they made, of just how far they could go, what they needed to do to break up this run to the end in case this thing did decide to go green. And now that we're under that scenario, these guys can kind of play it out in their head. And again, it's the gambling aspect that we have here, and that pit strategy that's really important to finishing in a good position and or winning this race.
Yeah, and I was way off on the fuel window there. We are just within the window of 45 laps, and Stabnow coming in early in this run here. I figured they would want to pad that just a little bit in case we got a green, white, checkered. But on the flip side of that, I also said if we have, a 10-lap shootout or a 5-lap shootout, these guys are going to want fresh tires anyway. He may be banking on that coming down if we have that scenario.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing is how hard were these guys pushing their tires from the beginning of this run? These tire wear is something that you really got to watch here now, especially on these mile and a halves. These guys are cranking these wheels and they're trying to get all they can off of these tires. One thing you got to watch is that tire percentage as it starts to trickle down. You don't want to blow a right front or a left rear, as that can be a night-ending mistake.
It can, and now we have the 48 of Mark Walls giving up about fourth position. He's going to come down, and I believe he slid. He did slid through his pit stall. He had to back up. It's going to be a little bit of a mistake. I don't think it's going to cost him too terribly much. Maybe a little bit of time on pit road, but still going to be a mistake on pit road you did not want to make.
We have a caution on the speedway. Charles, this changes everything.
Yeah, it's going to be the 9 of Corey Walters as we pull up the replay to go take a look and see what happened. But unfortunately, had a fast truck. We'll see what happened here. Looks like he
blew a left rear, it looked like.
Well, that will be interesting to see as he comes into the corner. And again, we talked about these tires there. They could be a problem.
Yeah, looks like a right rear going down on the 9 truck, and that's one thing I just talked about. That's something that these guys aren't used to on this iRacing service. He went down into the corner. You can see that he looked like he was having an issue. The right rear blows, and around that truck goes, and a little bit of contact at the outside wall, and the other guys look like a little bit of contact there with one of the other trucks over there, and so it doesn't look terrible, but again, that's one of those night-ending mistakes that I was talking about.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. That did not even look pretty as we're sitting here watching it again here. Right there, the tire goes and around the truck goes. Again, no pun intended, but it did come out that way. But yeah, that is unfortunate if you are that 9 machine. Get a very fast truck, and he's going to have to limp that sucker back to pit road.
Yeah, and it looks like all your leaders down pit road now for 4 tires in the field. And Charles, this could potentially be the last stop of the night.
Yeah, it very well could be, as we have about 41 laps to go. Dan West Jr. going to be your race leader here. And those lights are still going to be on the pace car. So while we have a moment here, let's step away real fast and we can get a quick word in from one of our partners, and we'll be right back.
We're based out of West Monroe, Louisiana. We do custom T-shirts, racing. We'll do any shirt. We'll do schools, churches, fundraisers. We do a ton of event shirts, as you can see on our board here, all around our banner. Personalized. I mean, we'll do anything. It doesn't matter to us. We got the custom rugs. We use all the, top quality shirts, inks and everything, hoodies, hats, hats. We do embroidered hats, embroidered shirts. You know, just you can call us for anything. We do offer the bag and fold, to where you can receive them and they're already labeled and tagged and bagged, ready to give out to your customers. So you can just call us and just tell us, hey, this is what we're looking at doing. And if we're going to put the car on there, it is 125 quantity minimum. If it's without the car, it's 60 quantity minimum. That's strictly on the racing stuff. If it's a business or something, if you race on Texas shirts, you know, it's a little bit differently. You know, you can call us. It just depends on your quantity and ink colors. Everything is hand drawn. I mean, everything. We don't Photoshop anything onto a shirt or anything like that. Everything that we go through, everything is drawn, and which is the reason for the art fees. We do have several graphic artists that draw for us, and you know, they're really good. So what we do is on any package that you do, we can mix and match. We can do any colors. You can do purple, red, blue, green, and do the rest black. It doesn't matter to us. With your design on there, we can do hoodies. We can do hoodies, long sleeve shirts, t-shirts, tank tops. It doesn't matter. I mean, just it's almost limitless what you can do, and you can put all that together in that package to make that minimum, you know, requirements. They can call us 318-278-7191, or they can email us at bulletprooftees@yahoo.com, or they can go to the website bulletprooftees.com.
All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Lights are off on the pace car, which of course means that we are going racing. 39 laps to go. That was a long green flag run, the longest we've had, and we'll see if we can get that to the end here, or if we will have a green-white checkered. Again, this is one of those things time will tell.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a quick update as far as drivers go. Travis Barnes, Dan Stussy, and Carl Burke all taking it behind the wall here tonight. In case those guys, anybody out there watching that was trying to keep track of them, they are all out of the race. Pace car going to be making its way down into pit lane this time around. We're going to have the first restart for a while since the beginning of this race. Pace car is going to pull off and makes that hard left-hand turn. The 55, Dan West Jr., he's on the throttle. Green flag is back in the air at Las Vegas.
And we are racing again. Dan West Jr. has been so dominant here. You know, almost got to root for him. Hopefully gets the win. If he doesn't, it's going to be Heartbreak Hotel for him. Again, let's hope that doesn't happen. We won't want to jinx him any. But we'll see. The 28, William Fletcher, still having some connection issues. They single file out for the first 5 cars right now, but they are bumper to bumper right now for Vining, Ottenbacher, Ross, and Maines. So nobody really pulling away except for that front car. They are just locked together.
We've seen James Vining. He's been showing some really good speed all night. He's finally gotten his way through the field all the way up to that second position. By the way, Jeff Stabnow fell all the way back to the 8th position under that caution flag. So that was a tough break for him. He's got some ground to make up, but he's got about 35 or so laps to do it. Dan West Jr. still holding the lead. James Vining in second, now trying to pull away from third. John Ottenbacher holding that third position. He's broken the top 3 for the first time of the night. And Bill Ross Jr. behind him. And Ryan Maines up in the top 5 once again.
And to point out the 24 Jeff Stabnow on that, he did use his fast repair. So we had the last run here. This is all. He put all his marbles into this run. And or all his marbles into the bag in this run, whatever you want to call it. He used that fast repair. This is it for him. He cannot be involved in another incident or it would be game over, and he'll be packing it up into the trailer. We'll see if he can work his way up through this field as he's going to get by Mark Walls in that 48 machine. We're still watching that as Dana Rogers going to smack the outside wall. Sparks are flying.
Now, these guys just have to kind of keep it together here, Charles. These guys still have nearly a full run, just short of a full run, as we went green with about 39 laps to go. And, we've seen these guys pitting at around lap 45, so they still got to save their tires, which is going to be the biggest thing. They can't really go all out until the last 10 or so laps. So these guys just gotta keep it consistent. They gotta keep their wheels underneath them, and that's gonna be the key to getting a good position or even winning this race.
Yeah, and you talk about going with 10 to go. Not to disagree with that. I do agree with that. You've got to save for those 10 to go, but you also have to always keep it in the back of your mind. Green, white, checkered, possibly 2 green, white checkers. And if you don't want to come down pit road and give up that track position, you really need to conserve right now, because you are going to possibly need those tires later on in this run. So if I don't think I can get the position, I'm not going to press issues too hard, because I want to be there at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. The biggest thing, and one of the keys that we went over pre-race, was you got to keep your truck clean. You can't win this race if you're not there in the end. And that's one thing that a lot of these guys already had experience tonight, is getting into trouble early in this race and really losing a lot of ground and not being able to run up front where we expected them to be. James Vining and Dan West are all good examples of being able to keep that truck clean. They've stayed out of trouble all night. And, James Vining, granted, he's had to make his way up through the field a couple of times, but he stayed consistent all night so far.
Yeah, he has been very consistent. And that 13 of Ryan Maines is trying to get by Bill Ross Jr. He just hasn't been able to get by him. And that Armor number 13, it definitely got a shine to it on that number 13 machine. As we'll just have to keep an eye and see if he can, but he just hasn't quite been able to do it. Ottenbacher holding on ahead of them at the moment in the 89 machine. He's got a good run here. Winning car, I don't know, but a fast car, yes, for sure. As James Vining just a little bit faster in that testmy.net, 1.083 seconds. He's gaining on our race leader right now.
That he is, and again, that 333 machine has showed really good speed all night so far, and slowly but surely gaining. He's got a little bit of time to go do so. Battle for the third position now. John Ottenbacher on the outside. He's going to end up losing a position possibly to Bill Ross Jr., who's at the number 17 on the inside.
Yeah, these guys are almost 4 wide. They're not right together, but they were showing signs that they wanted to go 3 wide. They back off and show a little restraint, and that is good. They do not want to, get this thing going into a caution here. Later in the race, that seems to be when cautions breed cautions. So we'll have to wait and see. But they're not just, going easy on each other right now. They are too. And look at the 46 of Sean Brightsman. He's been up front, and he is bound and determined to get by that 17 of Ross Jr. and the 89 of Ottenbacher, but he just can't find the line by him.
No, he can't, and he's trying his very best, and now it looks like, look at Brightsman in the 46 machine gaining ground now. That purple number 46, he's working his way up, and he passed about 3 cars on that last lap. He's going to work his way up into that number 3 position.
Yeah, and just as I was saying, he couldn't find a way around. I hand the mic over to you, and he finds a way. So maybe you're his good luck charm out there as he gets by both of them, and he'll take over the 3rd position. But look at this herd of trucks coming behind them. Right now is the 89 of Ottenbacher and that 17 of Ross Jr. battle side by side. Look at everyone that's caught up with him. You have Fletcher, Stabnow, Maines, Walls in here. You may even have Johnson coming in. They've battled side by side for so long that about 4 cars have caught up with them. This could cost them both a lot of positions.
It could, as long as they keep it clean. I think they'll be okay. But again, like you said, that side-by-side racing allowed all these guys to reel them in. And now we're looking at a pack of trucks here that are racing hard at the end of this race.
Yeah, they are racing very hard, and hard racing doesn't necessarily mean cautions, but it can lead to them. So we'll see as we have 25 laps to go right now. We're coming up on that 20 to go mark. Like you said, 10 to go. I want to be working my way to the front. I want to be there. Oh, as we got one going around.
Hard contact, outside wall.
And it's going to be the 28 of William Fletcher. I'm wondering if maybe that connection issue he had may have played a factor in it as we go back to the replay to see what happened.
Yeah, I think that was exactly what it was, Charles. Is a little bit of netcode, as we call it on the iRacing service, is on William Fletcher's end, is connectivity issues leading to some trouble down the back straightaway. Hard crash into the outside wall, and a chain reaction sends the number 7 spinning as well.
And right there. Oh, good.
Tough break for both of those drivers.
It is, and the 7 didn't have a whole lot of damage. He did get clipped there just for a second by the 28, but yeah, just a little bit of a connection issue there. And this is just that quick. You have no time to react. The 48 gets into him, and we'll see. Right as of now, everybody is coming down pit road. The 48 is under power. I'm not sure how much damage he acquired from that, but the truck doesn't look in bad shape.
No, I think he'll be in decent shape here. And, well, Charles, the question I have is anybody going to pull the 2-tire strategy here? These guys going to go green with, about 20-some to go. So it'll be an interesting take. Now, just under 20 to go is when they'll go green. And 55 going to be out by a long shot.
And looking here, it looks like everybody opted 14.0 to 14.4 seconds. 4 tires all around. You know, it's Las Vegas, but I think playing it safe here and what they did there, I think that's a good job.
Yeah, I think these guys learned early in this race that the 2-tire strategy does not work very well. It can work, however, you get too many laps on those left side tires and they wear out, and you're going to end up being that much slower, and you really want to have the good speed here at the end, and you want to be able to drive the truck hard and place it where it wants to go.
And we have a moment. The lights are still on the pace car. What do you say we see if we can't get a word in with our race leader, Dan West Jr., as we are riding on board with him right now. I can pull him down here from TeamSpeak Radio Communication. Dan West Jr., you got a copy?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Well, we got you here. I dare I say, dominant run tonight. You've led quite a few laps, starting this season off right where you left off last season with some really good runs here. You're leading the race. Oh, how's that truck handling tonight?
It's actually pretty good. Starts out a little bit loose, as you can probably see, but then it ends up being a little bit tight. So I've been freeing it up a little bit in the pits. Actually went back, tightened it up a little bit back the other way just now. So we'll see. I feel like it's a pretty good truck. It just takes about 2 laps to get going.
Well, it definitely looking like a really fast truck, handling good for you. We'll hand it to Brandon. You got any questions for our current race leader?
Dan, Brandon Kreutz, LSR TV booth. You're sitting on a rocket ship out there. What's your overall plan for this restart? Do you have anything to save, or you think you're just going to drive it hard and hope for the best?
I think with what is going to be about 20 to go, so it's going to get a good start, and I think we're just going to hold her wide open.
All right, and well, sounds like the best plan. And again, good luck out there, and hopefully we'll be talking to you again soon on the night.
Thank you.
All right, get him back to his radio communication as we're riding on board with him on the roll bar camera. and looking good inside there. You know, we were talking about this the other day while we are under caution as those lights are going off. You know, these guys are running the Cup cars on Monday nights. You compare the Cup cars inside to the trucks inside, it's almost like going from a spaceship to, you know, some 1900s or 1800s wooden boat. You know, you got an all digital dashboard in the Cup cars, and you come over to the trucks, and there's just like three little gauges and a couple of buttons to flip over.
Yeah, absolutely. So, a lot less to worry about on the dash of these race trucks for these drivers, which could be good, could be bad, depending on who you are and what you're used to driving. But lights on top of the iRacing Ford Mustang official pace car are out. It's going to be making its way down into the safety of pit road once again, this time out of corner number 4. Dan West Jr., James Vining on the front row, going to be leading these guys to the green flag once again. Pace car is off. 55 is on the loud pedal. Green flag is in the air once again.
It's a green flag waving as we'll bring down the sidebar onto the screen. And at this point, we only have 10 drivers on the lead lap. That caution coming out benefited a lot of people. It also hurt some people, as right now Dan West Jr. once again getting a good jump. Sean Brightsman, though, this time going to be all over his back bumper trying to make something happen. The question is, can he do it? He's right there with him, and we may have a pass for the lead as Sean Brightsman gets in. We got cars going around.
No caution yet. Still a battle going on for the lead. Brightsman down low. Now caution flies on the speedway. Caution lights come on once again. James Vining looks like he's got heavy front end damage to that race truck.
He does. Looks like that front of that truck went through a minefield.
Oh,
and we're going back to see what happened here on the replay. As
I can't explain that one, Charles. I don't know if he just didn't realize that he wasn't clear or what happened, but he came all the way down the racetrack and right across the nose of that 89 machine up into the outside wall and collected the 6, and other trucks getting involved, and it must have just been a communication error between him and his spotter. Tough break for all of those drivers involved, and including James Vining himself. He was showing really good speed in that race truck, and yeah, very odd looking incident there.
As we're watching it once again here from the blimp, as they sometimes have the best view, and you're right, just slides down and right there. Yeah, I don't think he just didn't realize the 89 was there. Coming into that corner, and just chaos ensues beyond that. I don't see anybody coming down pit road. Then again, I could be wrong, but I think I'm right there. Nobody's coming down pit road, as we're going to have, about 15 laps to go when we take the green again.
Well, this is turning into a Thursday night, or I guess on the East Coast and central United States, a Friday morning short track brawl, and going to be a little bit of a shootout race here to end it.
Yeah, here it is in Central Time. We got the Friday night frenzy going on over here. As you know, I may have to take this as my excitement for racing, as unfortunately the other job filming at the local track here for Race on Texas, one of our partners, of course, here at LSR TV. 80% chance of rain. Something tells me we're not going to be making it out to the track, and I'm not sure what your plans are, but I heard possibly some of your tracks up there also not getting to race.
Yeah, we're not getting to race because, well, there's this virus thing going around, and that's they limited us to no gatherings or events over 500 people. So any concerts or especially racing plans has come to a halt here in New York, and well, it's not fair. I want racing. I need racing.
Yes.
Guess I'm just gonna go out of state to go get my fix. I'm gonna be in Pennsylvania in a couple of weeks for the series that I work for, which will be a good time.
Having to travel to get to where you got to get that fixed for. Of course, as you mentioned earlier, we want to thank everybody for tuning in here to LSR TV. We can 100% say if you tune in and watch our races here on the channel, well, unless you already have it, you won't catch coronavirus here watching one of our races. So that is a plus. You can stay here and watch it with us, and you will self-quarantine and stay safe. And of course, if you're looking to get your fix and you can't go out to a racetrack, hop on iRacing.com. Sign up. You can get you a 3-month membership there. They have all kinds of deals for new members, and you can get in here. And if you're in the Northwest, you can join this league. If you're not, there are tons of other leagues out there, even that we don't cover, that you can get into. So, not the same as real racing, but definitely can be a good fix for it.
Oh, absolutely, it can be. And again, like you said, iRacing always offering good deals for new members. And, you know, I don't know. Maybe we should work on getting a promo code for us, for LSR TV, Charles.
That would be good. Right? We can get some LSR TV
Hint,
2020. Yeah, we'll see if Drew is out there watching. Drew, awesome guy. You know, when we bought out the channel here, you know, never imagined what we were getting into. We knew we wanted to take it big places, but the iRacing staff has been phenomenal. Getting in contact with us. We love the service. We love being here. And again, we hope to be here for many more years to come. Hopefully, we're not in this race for many more years to come. But those lights are off, so we're going to have 14 laps to go when we take the green flag. Do you think we're out of the woods for cautions?
No. Straight up answer, no. Cautions breed cautions. We've already seen it. These guys going to be hammered down, especially up here for the race lead, up within the top 5. These guys all showing really good speed. It's hammered down. It's go time. It's going to be really close racing. I think there's going to be at least one more on the night.
And depending on who you are, it may benefit you. It may hurt you. We'll see. We currently have still 10 drivers on the lead lap. A caution coming out could get Frank Harris back on the lead lap if he can get the lucky dog, and possibly a wave around for Frank Harris. But for sure, Stephen Paulson with the lucky dog pace car set to dive off to its rightful spot on a pit road. As we crank these engines up one more time, a loud pedal going to be hit there for the 55, and green flag is out. 14 laps to go here from Las Vegas, as we possibly could see a green-white checkered later tonight.
Dan West Jr. with another good start, and it's going to be a side-by-side battle. Sean Brightsman on the outside. It's going to be stabbed now on the inside. It's going to be a drag race down the back straightaway, 2 by 2, almost 3 wide behind them.
That's gearing up to be a good finish. Again, former teammates there. Stab now gets a little loose coming out of the corner.
Out 24, he's going to be loose. He's going through the grass. He's taking a trip. It's the most expensive lawnmower I've ever seen, and he's going to hang on to it, losing a ton of ground there in that 24 machine.
Well, he mowed the grass, came back on track, loses about as many positions as he possibly could from second, third-ish to 8th place. Not ideal, but good news is he didn't wreck it, and we still could see that caution, and he could be back in this thing. But what a ride there, as the lead now belongs to Sean Brightsman, as he just got by your former race leader, Dan West Jr.
Yeah, he just cleared for the race lead out of turn number 4 that last time by the 55. Is going to try to hang with him. And Brightsman showing some serious speed late in this race. Whatever adjustments he made throughout this race really coming out and showing good standard now, is that 46 is pulling away from the top 3.
Yeah, they are pulling away. We'll see how this one goes. Coming up to 11 laps to go. Again, I don't think we're out of the woods of the cautions, as Sean Brightsman having to hang on to that lead. Again, the problem is, I think Dan West Jr. has a better long run truck than anybody here tonight. But with 11 laps to go, is that long enough for that truck to come back to life and get by these trucks? Or has the 46 and possibly now the 48 of Mark Walls done something to their truck, as it is open setup, to make that truck longer here, or better here on this run, and they're going to catch him and pass him?
Well, you see now West is not dropping back. As a matter of fact, he's starting to reel that 46 back in. It's all about consistency here, and well, Dan West has showed nothing but that so far here on the night. So I think that's where going to be a key factor here is, we've still got a long enough run. I think Dan's truck just takes a couple of laps to come in. Maybe if he can reel that 46 machine back in, he'll still have a shot at this race win.
Yeah, I think you will too. We'll see right there. We'll keep an eye on that. You can keep an eye on the left side of your screen as well. 0.233 seconds separating those front two at the moment. Now 0.250, so it actually went up a little bit there. So now that 46 machine of Sean Brightsman maybe being a little bit more consistent. Meanwhile, we go back a little bit here to about 5th position, and James Vining. He's trying to get by Ryan Maines to take 4th position, but a solid top 5 for Vining right now, as he's had a fast truck all night as well.
Absolutely, he has. And again, we saw him get caught up in the incident earlier, but he's already made his way back up within the top 5. Now looking for a 4th place spot up ahead of him.
And looking a little further back, look at the battle going on here right now between Jeff Stabnow and that is Stephen Paulson. And yeah, Stephen Paulson. That is not for position. He's trying to get by so he can get back to the front, and he's going to possibly get by him here going into turn number 1. But Jeff Stabnow is passing people, but unfortunately, because of what happened going through the grass, he's passing people that are not even on the same lap as him. So that is unfortunate, going again from 2nd to 8th, and he really hasn't gained any position. He has gained real estate passing trucks, but no actual positions in the scoring.
James Vining back up towards the front, has cleared for that 4th position now. Granted, he's still not out of the clear yet. That 13 machine, Ryan Maines, still right on his back bumper, looking to gain that 4th position back, but so far he has cleared for that 4th spot. Looks like Mark Wall is still up there in the 3rd position. Dan West Jr. still in 2nd, trying to head down your race leader of Sean Brightsman.
Yeah, Sean Brightsman, your race leader. And again, it's not about leading the most laps, it's about leading the right lap, and that is, of course, the last lap. I'm not going to say he's 100% done here, but they're going to be coming up on 4 laps to go. That'll be interesting to see if that 55 of Dan West Jr. can reel him in and take this lead back. Again, it's going to be a tough one. I think that the truck in the 46 has really come to life here in these last couple of laps.
It looks like Dan West is trying in different entries into the corner. He's just trying to see what he can do, maybe move around just a little bit to see where he can get that run. He's using a little bit of a higher arch into the corner, a little bit of a higher entry point into the corner than your race leader, and that time around it looked like it worked just a little bit as he gained that much more of a ground on the 46 machine.
Yeah, 4 laps to go. We'll see if he can hang on to it. Mark Walls not really gaining any ground on the leader. Dan West Jr., I think, is potentially gaining some ground here. We'll see. Jeff Stabnow still back in 8th, as he's got John Ottenbacher just in front of him, so he may get at least 7th position.
These guys still fighting up front. Dan West doing all that he can to try to reel in that 46 machine. It's starting to look more and more unlikely now as the 46 pulling away once again.
And the 46 doing everything he needs to do, as it is right now 2 laps to go here for the Northwest Racing Truck Series, presented by Walls Beard Co. Live here on LSR TV, home for sim racing. Sean Brightsman on the backstretch as gets into the outside wall. He's going to be coming in to turn number 4, which signifies the white flag's going to be coming out.
1 lap to go. Sponsored by East Coast Motorsports Media, the number 46, Sean Breisman. He's held a strong race all so far tonight. 1 more lap to go. Now about a mile to go around the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. He's held consistency. He showed persistence all night. He had to come through the field about twice so far tonight. Now out of corner number 4, the purple number 46 LSR TV Toyota Tundra. He's going to cross the line first. Winner on the night, Sean Breitzman, number 46.
And Dan West Jr. had a fast truck, comes in a second, followed by Mark Walls, are going to be your top 3 drivers. That's who we're going to be talking to here in just a moment. But of course, we'll run through your results here for you. You want to run through those top 10 drivers here for us, and then we'll head on over to the post-race show after we recap the results. All right, your results are as follows. Sean Breitzman, of course, picking up the win as he does some celebrating here at the start-finish line. Going to tear up that grass a little bit. Followed up by Dan West Jr. Second. Third will be Mark Walls. Fourth will be James Vining. Fifth will be Ryan Main. Sixth going to be Bill Ross Jr. Seventh will be Jeff Stabnow. He did gain 1 more spot after falling to 8th. 8th place will go to John Ottenbacher. 9th, Brett Johnson. 10th will be Dana Rogers. 11th will go to Stephen Paulson. 12th, Frank Harris. 13th, Tom Green. 14th, Scott Hutchinson. 15th, Gary Nichols. 16th, Chad Malik. 17th, William Fletcher. 18th, Corey Walters. 19th, Stephen O'Hare. 20th, Carl Burke. 21st, Dan Stuzzi. 22nd, Travis Barnes. And rounding out the field in 23rd will go to Roy Grande. That'll do it for your unofficial race results here from virtual Las Vegas. It's time to talk to the top 3 drivers. We'll be right back with your post-race show. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here, of course, with your Clan War Servers post-race show, the official communication partner of LSR and CV. And we have our top three drivers here with us to talk to them. And, of course, coming in third place here tonight with a solid third. And it's going to be the 48 of Mark Walls. Mark, it's good to get to talk to you here in the booth on race number 2 at Las Vegas. What was that truck handling like out there tonight, and what do you think you needed to do to get by Dan West Jr. and Sean Brightsman for the win here tonight?
Yeah, I think tire management is key. Got kind of caught up in a little incident early, which put me in the back. But man, those guys probably had about 10, 15 laps, and right there at the end, I started changing the line a little bit, getting ready to use my tire, and slowly gained on them. We just ran out of laps.
It happens a lot. You run out of time, run out of laps. We had a few cautions here, not too terribly many. Of course, we had a long green flag run there. Was that truck set up for the long green flag run, or was it short runs? Obviously, and which one did you really want to see? Obviously, you wanted to probably see some green flag running, but which one was that truck set up for here tonight?
Yeah, that truck was set up for the long run. So now we got to figure these night tracks. We're gonna have to find some short run speed and still maintain the long run speed.
Overall, you had a fantastic night here. Involved in an early incident, you rebound from it to get that third place finish. We know you got some sponsors on the car. You got to think. So who would those be for that third place finish tonight?
Yeah, for sure. We got to thank Walls Beard Co. Sponsoring that number 48 Chevy Silverado. Had a good run tonight. We got to also thank our other sponsor on the truck, Young Living, and shout out to Next Gen Racing. We started strong. Didn't have that short run we needed, but we're gonna take the momentum and run with it.
You got the momentum. We'll be looking to talk to you here in the coming weeks. So you never know. Could be as soon as next race, next Thursday. That being said, we also want to congratulate you one last time on third place. And we have second place with us. That is the 55 of Rocket Man Dan West Jr. You get second here tonight. You had a fast truck that came up just a little bit short here on the win. Same question. What do you think you needed there to get back by Sean Brightsman?
Well, I ended up tightening the truck back up just a hair, thinking for a short run, and that definitely didn't work. And then I didn't realize how much the truck tightened up behind another truck. So strike two on me. But all in all, I don't know. It's Sean. I mean, it's Brightsman. I mean, you don't just go out and beat Brightsman. So I gave it all I had. And our trucks were pretty equal at the end. I felt like I was getting pretty tight, but they were pretty equal.
Definitely equal trucks there. We saw y'all racing quite a bit, bumper to bumper, side by side. In the end, it gets you by about 5 tenths or so. It was a knockdown, drag out battle. Again, we know you can win, and we know you had that momentum coming from season 6 here to season 7. So even though there's a little bit of a break in there between the seasons, how much of that momentum that you had from season 6 carried over to season 7 here, as you had really good finishes then?
Well, I think anytime you gain confidence, I mean, it's like I've always said, you see somebody win and they just all of a sudden they're up front all the time. So, if anything, it just brought confidence, Cody.
Well, definitely have a lot to be confident here. Second place, anyone you want to thank here for that win here that second place here tonight? Very well could have been a win though.
Like always, Northwest Racing Series. They're a pretty awesome series, and they work really hard to make it fun for everybody. LSR TV. Thank you, Brandon and Cody, for putting that on tonight. And Walls Beard Co. That'd be great.
Well, again, congrats on the second place here tonight. A hard fought second, almost had the win, but I believe, Brandon, you have caught up with our race winner here tonight.
I'm down here in victory lane with your winner on the night, Sean Brightsman. Sean, you had an awesome night here. Obviously coming home with the race win. You had a late race pass for the lead. How are you feeling down here sitting in victory lane?
Oh man, I'm just ecstatic. I definitely stole that one away there from Dan, but boy, does it feel great to steal a win away.
That you did. You got it fair and square, and you and Dan put on a good show up there at the end of this race. Yeah, obviously, a late race caution was your friend there. Tell us how the track was handling out there, especially on those long runs. You guys had a nice long run throughout the center of this race.
Yeah, the my truck, the LSR TV Toyota Tundra was tight actually. I struggled all night. It was tight, tight, tight. I kind of threw almost a qualifying setup there for the last 10 laps, and the motor could have blown, to be honest, with how much it was blinking at me. But it was just overall tight. I couldn't get it loose enough. That last 10 laps or so, I was loose enough to kind of to be able to hold the throttle down basically the whole way around for the most part.
Handling an ill handling race truck out here, especially through traffic. I'm sure not your friends. You came through the fields once or twice because of that ordeal. Tell us how it was driving through traffic and even through the heavy lap traffic that you guys had to go through at times.
It wasn't too bad. There were some moments there that worried me a little bit, and I kind of put myself in a hairy situation. But most of the guys here in the Northwest Racing Series, Truck Series, and the Cup Series, they all race with respect, and they understand that the leader's coming, or that you may get put 3 wide. So it's pretty easy to do it with all these people here. They are all respectable racers, easy to race with, and very good at what they do.
And absolutely, you came off that last restart. Obviously, a late race caution. You steal the lead away fair and square, and you had a good short run truck there here at the end. Made the right adjustments on pit stops, and you walk away with the race win. Sean, is there anybody that you'd like to thank, give a shout out to here tonight?
Absolutely. I got to thank LSR TV here for putting on the broadcast and sponsoring the Toyota Tundra that I drive. Got to thank Wicked Chassis, Walls Beard Co., a long time Northwest sponsor, and everybody in the series for coming out and having a good time.
Awesome job. And again, congratulations, ladies and gentlemen, your winner on the night here in the Northwest Truck Series, Sean Brightsman. So, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the race here tonight. The gambling capital of the world, Sean Brightsman. He gambled. He made the right adjustments on the last set of pit stops, and he walks away with the race win. Persistence was key here tonight, and that's exactly what got him to victory lane. Handling an ill-handling race truck all night, Sean Brightsman ends up in victory lane. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our coverage here on LSR TV tonight. For myself, Brandon Kreutz, Charles Wooten, and the rest of our staff at LSR TV, we bid you good racing and good night.
This broadcast is the copyrighted work of LSR TV and may not be rebroadcast, retranslated, or used in any form without the express written consent of 52 Media LLC and iRacing.com Motorsports Simulations. LSR TV would like to thank you for your support, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast.